aTnSocke, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kylaris, and today we're going to be looking at a best-of-3 series between Delphi and aTnSocke, one of everybody's favourite European Protoss, and I already have some frame lag. What the hell is going on? I complain about this every game, so, oh well, it doesn't matter too much. As we can see, Delphi is going to be spawning in at this 6 o'clock position, whilst Socke is going to be spawning in the 1 o'clock position, or 12 o'clock position even, and this is going to be pretty damn good. We did see Delphi before really bring it to Mouse Hasu after Mouse Hasu did bring him on board with a very, very interesting drop with sentries and blink stalkers. However, Delphi was able to absolutely crush it with complete map dominance, but let's see what aTnSocke has to say about that. Again, a very, very, very strong European Protoss against what seems to be a very strong Zerg. So this, as I said before, this is a best of 3, and oh wow, new symbol. Actually no, it's probably not new. Did anybody figure out what that fish was from the other thing? Hey, by the way, sorry, if anybody, once again, if anybody watched the entirety of that 1 hour 30 cast, you are legends among men, honestly. It was pretty hard to cast in total, but yeah, we got there in the end. So Socke going to be throwing down that 12 pylon, or 13 pylon even, and then going to be chrono boosting a few probes out, and what on earth is going on? Sorry, I just had to stop it to stop the lag, and yes, let's get back into the game straight away. This Overlord going to this closest position, but not scouting it, so he's going to be looping around, and again sending his second Overlord to that position. So those two Overlords will probably reach the base of these two bases selectively on their own at pretty much exactly the same time. aTnSocke at this point being a bit of an annoyance, keeping this probe here just to make sure that it can block off that expansion for as long as possible, because I really don't think that a lot of lower level Protoss give this credit for as much as it can possibly do. If you're blocking that for so long with the probe and then you throw down a pylon, it can really do a large amount of annoying damage to the Zerg if he really wants to freely expand. So you should always be doing that as a Protoss against any Zergy behavior. Throwing down that second pylon and going to be probably getting a Zealot anytime soon. We have 100 and they're getting that Zealot just to be able to block that off as easily as he possibly can do. And at this point, Delphi just going to be scouting around and not doing too much other than that. He does have a few Zerglings on the way in order to be able to try and pick this probe off, and that probe does end up fleeing, not dropping a pylon because he realises that it's just wasted minerals with this amount of Zerglings out there. But if there weren't those Zerglings out, then he would have ended up dropping that pylon and doing a lot of annoying pressure, an annoying cause pressure thingamajigger to the Zerg. And we do have that Zealot chasing away that probe nicely, and I don't understand why I have so much lag. I really need an external hard drive. I just need one so badly. That would reduce the lag immensely, I think. But alas, I cannot afford it because I am a poor student-like creature living in the North Barrens of Finland, even though I don't live in the north of Finland. But it's pretty north globally, so yeah. At this point, Socke is just going to be patrolling around with this probe, obviously going to be setting up a proxy pylon anytime soon, and throwing down a gateway in a very wide, far away position. Going to be throwing down a gateway here in order to maybe lure Delphi into a false sense of security. I'm imagining we're going to be seeing some kind of 4-gate play or some 4-gate trickery going down with that probe just dancing around there. And at this point we do have warp gates almost finished for Socke, and this expansion is almost done for Delphi as well. Not doing too much right now apart from just kind of dancing around with this queen. And I just had to pause it once again because I'm really getting annoyed by this lag now. I'm trying to stabilize it, but it's extremely hard. I don't know what's up at all. We do have a nice probe transfer there. Really nice timing on that probe transfer, getting there just as the expansion does finish, and bringing that queen over as well as dropping a creep tuner so you can connect the bases. So at this point, it looks like Socke is going to be trying to just make this expansion happen with some sentry support. and he was nicely blocking off there with those sentries to make sure the Zerglings couldn't do any scouting into this base. It is a 3-gate expansion right now, so obviously that probe has been brought back in order to make sure that he can just kind of solidify this expansion to the best of his ability. These, oh my god, those Zerglings almost picking off that probe, so that would have been interesting. He would have delayed that expansion just a little bit if he'd have got that probe. And he is now going out to do a little bit of pressure perhaps with these sentries and zealot, but maybe actually no, he's not. What am I on about? Of course he's not. I knew he wasn't going to do that anyway, but yeah. So now we do have a Stargate coming down for aTnSocke, and I absolutely love this play from the Protoss player, because just a single Phoenix gives you some degree of map control over a Zerg player, because they have to bring all these Overlords back. He hasn't seen this Stargate yet, but this Overlord is moving away slightly, so maybe he's anticipating some kind of Stargate play, but I highly doubt it. Because just Zergy hasn't seen it. That was like the worst. That was like the worst comment about this game ever. That was the worst comment ever. That was horrible. You do have a Forge going down for aTnSocke now, and that Stargate has just finished. So he's going to be, I'm hoping, producing a Phoenix to gain some kind of map control over the Zergy boy, and probably force him into making some Hydras as well. And we do have that Phoenix coming out Chrono boosted as well, and it makes so fast when the Chrono boosted. Oh my god, I love Phoenix 2 bits. I love the placement of this pylon as well, going to be able to warp onto the low ground and see any kind of trickery and tomfoolery that does go on there. Nice big probe transfer going on here, just as that expansion does finish. Not quite as nicely timed as Delphi's, but indeed it does go on. And we have a massive amount of upgrades being researched here from Delphi. Venomous, Carapace, Glial Reconstitution, and Missile Attacks level 1 coming down for Delphi. So he's going to be really kind of committing to Roach play here, getting a lot of upgrades for those Roaches. And with the Venomized Carapace, he can also do what he needs to do. May end up seeing a drop or something like that. I doubt we'll be seeing. Wait, that's Vengeful Sacs. What am I on about? He really, it's right. It's indeed correct, though. He really does need that Overlord speed for if these Phoenix do become a big problem, and indeed he will be able to run away from Phoenix very, very soon. So really nice play, really nice game sense there from Delphi, knowing that he will need that Venomized Carapace in order to actually evade such problems, such as losing a ton of Overlords to Phoenix. We do have a Robo Bay going down now, this Phoenix just being a bit idle. I like to just, whenever I get my first Phoenix out, I just send it all over the map, literally just on attack move all over the map. Not near the Zerg base, but you can, with that, you don't really have to pay attention much to the Phoenix, but you can still catch off a few Overlords, which is really, really nice play, and it doesn't cost that much APM, so I advise everybody to do that. 3 Phoenix now out, and going to be taking out that Overlord pretty easily, but that Overlord was indeed used for scouting purposes by Delphi, and now trying to secure the gold, so he's going to be in a really good position if this goes unchecked by aTnSocke. He really needs to do something, aTnSocke, at this point, if not just put some pressure on with these Phoenix, otherwise Delphi is going to be in a commanding position. And he does have quite a few Roaches out at this point, and even Hydras coming out, so he has made the right transition. But at the same time, I imagine we're going to be seeing the Robo Bay, which is going down for aTnSocke now, and that transition will be done very, very soon. Where the bollocks is that Robo Bay? There it is. And we do have a second Robo facility now going down for aTnSocke, so he's really... I love doing this against Zerg, forcing them to go Hydras with the Stargate, because they can't really go Mutalisks, because Phoenix just shut that down, and then going straight for the Colossi once you know a lot of Hydras are popping. And we do have range on the way for those Colossi, as well as these Phoenix did take out an Overlord up in that top corner, and Colossi production has begun. So Delphi now, he really needs to kind of transition. He needs to grab himself a Spire at some point, because Corruptors are going to be completely the absolute key to taking out this Colossi Death Ball, which will end up coming out from the Protoss. And at this point, it seems like aTnSocke is quite content sitting on these 2 base, and I don't blame him at all. 2 base Protoss against God knows how many base Zerg is really, really strong if you do mess up enough Colossi. And now double production on these Colossi coming out. I'm surprised he hasn't started there, and indeed he does. not wasting much of that Chrono Boost at all, and another Overlord being sacked in order to come in here and odd use on that Guardian Shield, but a lot of these sentries do have tons and tons of energy, so it's not too much of a waste going into the later stages of this game. More Overlords just coming out here, just chilling out with these guys. They're quite happy to sit around for a while, whilst he does end up trying to max, and he's quite far ahead of the Protoss right now when it comes to food, but you must remember that a lot of that food is in drones, but a lot of units just popped then. We do have a few more roaches on the way, but at the same time Socke is massing up this death ball of Colossi, and pushing out with these 3 Colossi is going to be really hard to stop for this Roach Hydra mix. But he does see this, and actually, now that I look at it, amazingly spread creep here from Delphi. Look at the minimap. That is a massive amount of creep spread, and nice placement of this single Zergling here, knowing when Socke is going to be taking this gold, and this Zergling has done its job, knowing that this gold is about to be taken. So Delphi really needs to either expand once again or make something happen here, because if too many Colossi come out, which is looking like what's going to happen pretty soon, then he's going to be in dire straits, especially if the Protoss does catch up on bases. And I apologise for the lag because I don't have an external HD drive, and it's rubbish. So now throwing down a pylon here in order to be able to warp in just a little bit closer to the Zerg, and at the same time nicely bringing out this observer to take out this creep. And again, once again, another thing that Protoss really overlook in PvZ is killing creep, because this creep allows absolute map dominance to Delphi in this position, and killing it is of the utmost importance. So at this point, Delphi is now aTnSocke saying his mum needs something, and Delphi is taking that 4th base as well as a 5th base, so double expanding here as he really needs to, and really nice play from Delphi here. I'm surprised, does he have his Spire up? He does have the Spire up, getting weapons level 1, and he needs to get quite a few Corruptors. He does have a few here, but he really needs to get more, in fact, in order to be able to take these out. Actually, now that I think about it, not more, because well, maybe just a little bit more, because he really needs to kill these before the entire ground army does evaporate to their shots. And he's going to be moving up here, trying to get a few pot shots off on these Corruptors, which is what he really needs to get. But he is going to see these coming in next to these photon cannons, and he's going to be fleeing as the Stalkers are coming in range. If only Socke had Blink at this point, he could take out a hell of a lot of these Corruptors, but a shame, alas, he does not. And he's going to be spreading creep up in his base, which is a bit of a low blow, but not to worry, that Overlord is going to be shooed away eventually. Killing a lot of creep here with these units, and +2 weapons now on the way for Socke. So and a lot more Hive now on the way for Delphi, as well as more Corruptors. So he's going to be in a good position to actually defeat this ball here. He just really needs to get as many pot shots off on the Colossi as possible with these Corruptors before engaging the ball head on. And a lone Zealot here getting a bit out of place, and a Corruptor and a Hydra are going to stay back and kill this off. So we just need to see now and wait for the final battle to occur, but at the same time Delphi is controlling this entire side of the map, whereas there is still a lot of creep here that needs to be killed, and it is being killed by Socke just slowly, in a good speed, and Blink indeed being researched now, as well as a second forge going up, so he's going to be able to get those upgrades out doubly as fast. But weapons level 3 for these ground units on the way, so he's going to be in a really good position when it comes to actually taking out this ground force, as they're only going to have ground weapons level 2 by the time that weapons level 3 is finished. And now a big engagement here, catching a few Stalkers off guard, but at the same time these Stalkers are trying to take out these Corruptors, whilst the Corruptors rain down havoc on these Colossi, and these Colossi are going to go down with the Corruptors, and the Corruptors have served their purpose there. And now this ball is going to push in, trying to take out as much as possible, but now more Colossi coming in at the back. Nice Guardian Shield, and nice use of those Force Fields to split up those units, and still more Force Fields going down, killing off a few of those units. But at the same time, the Zerg can really revigorate his army as quickly as possible with a ton of Zerglings if he so chooses to. He has 2,000 minerals banked. He really needs to get these gas geysers up and running, and indeed he is. That he's right ahead of me, and that was an interesting engagement there, killing off a lot of those Colossi, which he needed to do at the cost of quite a few Corruptors, but it was worth it in the end,
because keeping that Colossi count down for the Zerg is so important going into the late stages of this game. So +3 weapons as well as +1 armor on the way, and a bit of an engagement here. A few roaches coming here, getting caught off guard, as well as a queen going down and vaporizing a few of those. And at this point, I don't think the Zerg has enough to defend this at all. He is getting a few Brood Lords out. Oh my god, I forgot to see the Great Aspire was going down. A Nidus Worm also coming along, but these Brood Lords are going to be able to do a lot of damage, and nice use of these Corruptors flanking and taking out a lot of these Colossi. He could have taken that one out, but what are they doing? They're idling. Oh no. He did lose a few of those Corruptors, but at the same time, these Broodlords are coming out, and I'm going to put the nail in the coffin for Socke at this point. He has taken his 4th, but it really doesn't matter at this point, in my opinion, as these Broodlords are going to be able to rain down havoc on this ground army. Colossi are pretty good against Broodlords, considering that they can pretty much one-shot their little dudes, but again, they can't really take them out in an effective way, and going to be doing a lot of damage to these Stalkers right here. And I'm pretty sure aTnSocke knows that he is in big trouble with these Broodlords out on the field. That being said, though, there are not really that many Corruptors out to actually kill off these Colossi, but it really doesn't matter when you've got Broodlords. They do so much damage, as well as soak up a lot of the damage of the Protoss. And now blinking, nice blinks to try and take out these Broodlords, but a lot of the roaches are swinging around to kill off these Colossi. Even with this cannon fire, it's not enough. All these ground army is going to go down, and that looks like it's going to be GG at this point. He is warping in a few more units in desperation, but these Corruptors, once again, just doing so much damage to these Colossi. +3 weapons is almost done for aTnSocke, but at the same time, ground carapace level 3 is almost done for these ground army as well. This ground army is so massively upgraded in comparison to the ground army of Socke, who was just completely outplayed in this game, and even a Contaminate going down on this warp gate. There is a Void Ray out on the field, but it's going to be no use at all, as more Broodlords are warping in and are going to be taking out this Nexus pretty damn effectively. And that looks like it's going to be GG from there, folks. I really don't know what Socke can do at this point. A few more coming in here, taking out some of those cocoons. Really nice use of those Stalkers, blinking away as well, and killing off 2 or 3 Broodlord cocoons. Oh no, just 2 Broodlord cocoons. So he is going to be moving in here now, trying to make the crushing blow on Socke, and it seems like that is definitely going to be GG. As more units are rallying along here, more Corruptors coming along to take out these Void Rays, and the Broodlords raining down havoc on these, but still more units streaming in from the back. Socke resilient in defeat, and going to be killing off a lot of these Void Rays now, whilst the Broodlords are coming in and finishing off this, and these Overlords being extremely annoying, going to stick around for the end of this game. And nice positioning of these Colossi, though, kiting back in order to make sure that they can do as much damage as possible while still staying alive. But it seems like that is going to be it, folks. And it seems like we're going to be going into this round of 3 with Socke calling GG on the first game. So that is 1-0 to Delphi. Let's go on straight to game 2 and see what happens there.